Hello, everyone. Welcome to the night crew. We're back again for another exciting evening of news and current events. We have our usual panel of Mark Callahan, Angela Thomas Smith, and Kentucky Guy.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody. Good to see your smiling faces back again.
Hi, hello.
And I missed being here Sunday night. I had to close up my mouth and shut up for a while. I'm glad to be back tonight. So we got some great things lined up. So let's get started and see what happens. Okay, the first thing on the agenda. Ophelia's gone. Here's what's next for hurricane season. Tropical storm Ophelia came and went over the weekend, it says. And I'm sure they were glad to see it go. I'm not going to read all this, just what I have highlighted, and y'all can read it all if you want. There are three other systems to watch in the Atlantic Ocean. One is newly minted tropical storm Felipe, and then there's another tropical wave rolling off the coast of Africa. Looks primed to intensify. And a third disturbance is lurking in the southern Gulf of Mexico. And also, we're entering into homegrown tropical cyclone season. During October, tropical systems become more likely to spin up in the Gulf of Mexico and threaten the United States. Now, I don't have to worry much about hurricanes in East Tennessee, and I'm sure Kentucky guy don't worry about them, but you folks along the East Coast, I know it's something that you have to keep in mind. I have a niece down in Tampa, and she never seems to worry about them. She always says, well, they always go around us. And so far, she's been right, and I hope luck holds out. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a real thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, they go around us.
Yeah. I'm sure you're glad, right?
Yeah, we
I
get
know
them
I'm
from
with
time to time. They come on in on us sometime.
yeah.
Here in Myrtle Beach and in Charleston. But we definitely get the flooding. We get the rain. I can tell when it's hurricane season because it seems like every single day it rains in the afternoon.
And sometimes the rain can be worse than the wind, as you know. I
Definitely.
remember
Yes.
I remember in Katrina, right when they said, well, it looks like New Orleans missed the bad part of it. And next thing you know, they were flooded over their heads and couldn't move around. So, yeah, that's a big thing to consider. But I know you don't worry about such things, Kentucky, yeah?
No, just I mean, we get floods around here. Not from
Yeah,
hurricanes though. Just backwater and things like
we
that.
run over. Yeah,
Yeah, but I couldn't imagine. I mean, I couldn't imagine having to prepare for that.
yeah. Just watching on the news, see everybody boarding up their houses, boarding up their businesses,
You know what's kind of
all
funny
that.
is every time I see that on the news, like, and it's devastating. There's always that one guy sitting on his roof smoking a cigarette, just enjoying it, water all over the place, and he's on his roof. I just never could quite understand that.
And some people have hurricane parties. You've heard of them.
Yeah, I have. Not this guy. You tell me a hurricane's coming, I'm running.
There you go. It's like you tell me there's a snake behind me. I'm going forward.
I'm out. See ya.
Yeah.
I was in I used to work in Montego Bay, Jamaica, for a while, and I had a driver. We were talking, and I seen a mongoose for the first time, and he was telling me all about it. And he goes, "What kind of animals do you guys have to watch out for in Kentucky?" And I was like, well, snakes, snakes are bad around here. And he goes, oh, snake. I thought he was going to wreck the car. He goes, oh, snakes. He goes, no, we don't. He goes, if there's a snake around here, it's on the news. I was like, wow.
Yeah, we got them too. They usually wear neckties, three-piece suits. Well, what else we got on the agenda, folks? Let's see what else we can find here. Biden joins auto workers on the picket line in Michigan today. And guess why he was there? He heard Trump was going to be there tomorrow. But anyway, President Biden joined a group of striking auto workers on a picket line in Michigan on Tuesday, an extraordinary gesture of support to a labor union by a sitting American president. I believe he's the first one to ever do it, walk the picket line with strikers. At least that's what they say, what they said on the news. So that's pretty cool, I guess, but he's going to sell them out. It was on down here. It says he was on the microphone. I seen it. He said, "Unions built the middle class. It's a fact." And I don't know why they called him Mr. Biden in this article. That seems very strange to me. Instead of President Biden. Down here it says, since the strike began on September 15, Mr. Biden has been calling on companies and workers to reach an agreement that would spare a ripple effect through the economy that could raise vehicle prices and disrupt supply chains. Now, I suppose you've all heard that they did expand that strike. I think they added 38 new locations or striking or something like that. So that will help. The part that I really hate is what they're really striking now is the parts places, and it won't be long to those of us that need to go in and get some kind of replacement done on our car, and they might have to wait to order a part. So that could really be bad for people that depend on their cars, which is just about everybody, right? So what you think about that one? Does that concern you at all?
All right, did you ask somebody in particular, Steve?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I just kind of figured somebody.
I thought you were calling me out. I didn't know.
Well, since you're talking.
So it's a political move on Biden and Trump. Is all it is.
It is.
And that's I think this is more serious than what they're acting like. You said they've expanded it. They did, and the more they expand it, if we fail to pay them and continue to do so, and I can't hardly understand Biden being there because it's his administration that kind of caused this. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyways, for this in the end, they're going to have to pony up the money, and they should have just done it in the first place. They're going to end up doing it. Car manufacturing is that it helped build this country, that and the steel mills, and it continues to give so many jobs to the United States and what have you. So, I mean, they're going to give in. They're going to pay them in what they want. It's just prolonging. How long are they going to prolong this for? The inevitable. So,
yeah.
And I think the longest it goes, you already can't afford a new vehicle right now. They're so expensive. Man, just wait now. Give it a couple months now after this. Watch how high they go.
Yeah. I remember the good old days when cars didn't cost so much. I think the cheapest car I ever bought, I paid $16 for it. It was a Bel Air. I paid $16 for it, and I got cheated. I did. It would blow out smoke for about a quarter of a mile behind me, and I put a quart of oil in it every day.
Are you? I just want to make sure my headphones were. Are you saying $16?
That's what I say. It's $16. Yes, $16. I bought it from my sister. She didn't like me,
Yeah.
and she didn't like the car, and she knew I wanted one.
Did she
She
put a
said,
bow on
"I'll
it for
teach
you?
She said, I'll teach that sucker." What do you think, Angela?
I don't
I'm
know if you're
muted. I'm
muted.
sorry.
There you go.
Like he was saying, I think it's all for show. If they would just go ahead and give them, what they need, what they're deserving of, you know, no need prolonging it because when it's all said and done, they're gonna give it to them anyway. That's normally what they do. But again, it's all political because we do got some elections coming up soon, so.
That always makes a difference, doesn't it? It always makes a difference when you got an election coming up.
Hmm.
You know, it's really going to be sad, speaking of election, if next year in the presidential race that we're going to choose between Trump and Biden again. And that's what it looks like right now, but we've got a long time to get through that.
That's what it'll be.
That's,
I don't know. I will say one thing, and I've said this for a year now. I don't feel Biden's going to be in the election in 2024. I don't know why, but I feel like something's going to happen. He's not going to make it there. I don't know what or what have you, but I've said that I like to throw it out everywhere I go because I said a lot of stuff last year that's come true this year, and we have records of it on different podcasts. But yeah, I don't know why, but I don't think he may not be there. I don't know. I think Trump will definitely be the GOP candidate. Democrat candidate, I don't know.
Yeah.
Surely God, not Kamala Harris.
It would be interesting with Biden would resign right before or right after the election, whatever it's pending. And
If he done that, that would tick me off. He's 3 years too late.
uh, well, let's see what else we got going on here. Booker joins growing number of Senate Democrats calling for Menendez to resign amid federal indictment. That's no surprise. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker on Tuesday called on fellow Democratic Senator Bob Menendez, his longtime Garden State colleague, to resign in the wake of a federal indictment accusing him of corruption-related offenses. Booker, who said he found the allegations against Menendez hard to reconcile with the person I know, joins a chorus of Senate Democrats, including several facing tough re-election races next year, and pushing for the Senate to step down. Booker's decision to break from Menendez will sting the most, a uniquely damaging political blow to a longtime senator with a suddenly thinning list of allies, both in Washington and his home state, where local leaders are lining up against Menendez. The charges against Menendez, who is up for re-election next year, comes at a fraught moment for the narrow Senate Democratic majority, which is facing an uphill battle to keep control of the chamber in 2024. Though New Jersey is reliably blue state, On the national level, Democratic Governor Phil Murphy won a second term in 2021 by only 3 points, giving Republicans some reason for optimism, particularly if Menendez is on the ballot while under indictment. I don't know about you, but this Menendez is in some serious trouble, you know? I forget how many hundreds of $1,000s they discovered in his house. And he says he withdrew it out of the bank, of his personal banking account. He said it's something he learned when he lived in Cuba in his younger days. And it made it sound like he just doesn't trust the banks, so he took it home, and I don't know if he stashed it under his mattress or what, but that's a lot of money to be laying around your house. What do you think, Angela?
Well, it just sounds like corruption. I mean, it's a lot of that going on around these various branches right now. Um, we just want money and power, and we're willing to do any and everything to get it. And it is right before our eyes. We see it. Like, it just take me back to, you know, the things that were just present in Texas, but yet they acquit the attorney general. You know, his wife wasn't too pleased with the mistress that was presented in court. But hey, this is what happened. And it's all about money and who got the money. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with this.
Yeah.
And how this get brushed under the rug. Like a lot of things that's getting brushed under the rug right about now.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. When you got money, you can do that.
Yeah.
So it goes back to those that are really pulling the strings, those that are really funding these different campaigns and have the power.
That would be the billionaires of the world. Yeah,
So
they
we
just
see
not
who
only,
money is the longest and who got the best lawyers, I guess. If he got some good lawyers and he
I'm
got some
sure
long
that,
money, he may be able to get through it. Huh.
yeah. Well, compared to all the charges against Trump, the charges against him are nothing, right?
Right.
Trump ain't went to jail.
But they got time and money to play like that because that's what they doing, evidently.
Yeah.
You know. I'm sure there's a lot more other stuff that they could be spending some of this money on.
Yeah. And not only money, he had gold bars, bars of gold. And was it a Mercedes or a Bentley? I think it was a Mercedes that's probably worth a few $100,000. Did he get that out of his closet or what?
Yeah, he been saving that for a minute.
Yeah. What you think, Kentucky guy?
Well, I know this case pretty well. Once again, this is going to tie in to election year. You've got all these Democrats and now Booker, wanting this guy to resign because now he's inconvenient to them, even though this guy was their friends for years.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that he's done it or he didn't do it. I don't know his situation with Egypt, the country that he's being blamed on this for. I have no idea. But I do know a couple things. And the first thing is he has the right to test the government's evidence. And he has a right to his day in court because he's like any other US citizen. Now, my problem is with the DOJ that's prosecuting him. They don't have a very good track record when they're prosecuting public figures. Bob McDowell, President Trump. Also, they tried to convict this guy in 2017. If you guys remember, he had a trial.
No, I don't.
And they tried to say that he was taking bribes and fraud and made a false statement. And the DOJ's evidence was so bad, it ended up being a mistrial. So don't get me wrong. If this is very serious,
Yeah,
and what he's being accused of is crazy. At the same time, though, our Department of Justice has a bad, let's just be honest about it. They have a failure and corruption in just about every case they bring against a public figure. And let's be straight about it. Whether you hate Trump or you love Trump, no pun intended, there's some trumped up charges there that aren't going to stick. They're not going to hold water. And so I don't think this guy should need to step down and resign. I think he needs to make sure, because he's saying that it's all baseless. He's still standing him and his wife are saying, no, none of this is true. So give him his day in court. If you got the evidence, you'll convict him. You'll get your conviction. If not, though, that's the great thing about our country. If he's innocent, then he'll walk away.
do you think you should step down and resign? A lot of people think he does, think he should, even Democrats.
Yeah, the Democrats want him to because he's an inconvenience now. It's election year. No, I don't think he should. I think he ought to stand his ground. I think he ought to stand his ground and stay right there.
Yeah, why does he have to lose, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've already drug your name through the mud. You might as well stay with it. Him resigning makes him look guilty, I think.
And speaking of Trump, which we never do, but
No.
do you think the fact that he's going to Michigan tomorrow at the same time they're having the second GOP debate, do you think that's intentional?
You know it is.
Absolutely.
Of course it is.
Absolutely.
Of course it is.
He wants to steal that show, doesn't he?
Well, he did it when he was on Tucker Carlson through the first one. Millions. Tucker Carlson's views were millions more than a debate.
Yeah. Well, Tucker needs all the help he can get nowadays. Yeah. And
I never did. You know, when he was on Fox News, I never did really like him. I thought he was too far right. But I kind of like him on his own.
Oh, yeah?
He's pretty interesting now. You know, you can tell he doesn't have that leash on him anymore. So
I never cared for him and still don't, to be honest with you. So do you think if Fox News is going to change now that old man Murdoch stepped down and passed the torch to his son?
I think that they may start showing their true colors a little more. They're farther left than what people think they are. They think they're a bunch of right wingers, but you only got a few left on there that are really far right. The Sean Hannity, which I think he's a total fake, and a couple others. But I think they might start showing. You know, those, what is it? 6 news companies are owned by the same person. I mean, they're all the
It's
same.
more
Man.
than 6.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch owns about a dozen, don't he? Something like that.
Does he? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. Anyways, the point is, same owner. I mean, we kind of know that they're the same, right?
Yeah.
You know, Steve, you're more news. I trust your news that we do on this show more than I do any of them. CNN,
Really?
Fox, any of them. This is the new news of the future.
All
Our
right.
podcast and things like this.
Well, thank you. I like that. And, you know, it's all of us. It certainly ain't me. It's all of us together. And we're just waiting to get discovered, right?
Well, what it is we're not worried about any election. We're not worried about getting any money for this. You know what I'm saying? And we speak what we give everybody the truth. What's going on? And we don't just tell them. We say, hey, go look it up yourself. You can find this.
There you go. And if you don't like what that article says you're reading, go to another website. You'll probably hear something different.
There's like 20 different browsers you can bring up.
You can even go on what's it called, the dark web, and get all that hidden stuff or whatever. By the
There's
way,
a-
Lamar said he lost his power. That's where he went to. He disappeared, and he texted me and said his power went out. So,
Now there's something I'm getting ready to do a special report on my show, and there's something that the two of you that I'm very concerned about. That when you guys in the audience as well, whoever watching this and listening, if you get a chance, just search it out. I'm not going to talk about it, but search it out. It's the uh, Sunday law, Sunday law, and the 2025 Transition Act. That's scary stuff right there, and it's coming.
is it
And
going to
trust
be
me,
kind of like the blue law used to be? Remember the blue law?
that's exactly what it is, buddy. And
Really?
yes, and I've always considered myself kind of a conservative, but I'm not far right. And buddy, this scares the crap out of me.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
I
I'm
remember
doing,
that
like I
when I
said,
was a kid.
yeah,
You
like
know,
I
they
said,
went
I'm doing a special report on it. I've got the team working on different reports, but I did not realize it was coming up that close.
yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah.
that's sad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid, they made a law locally that all the stores had to close on Sunday, and then they decided they can open up to sell food and medicine and not anything else. And certain items would have a certain color of price tag on it. You could buy those, and anything else you couldn't buy. And it was crazy.
Hey, they'd kill you. That was the third penalty was death.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to look into that. What are they calling it now?
The Sunday law, Sunday
Sunday
law.
law.
Yeah, and the 2025 that's really what you want to look up, Steve. The 2025 Transition Act.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, that's something else.
And by the way, have you, I suppose you have been to the United Nations website.
Oh yeah,
That's got some scary stuff on it too.
they are like
It's very scary.
like I tell everyone, the United Nations was formed from Nazis from World War II. That's who your original leaders of the United Nations are. They are not our friends. And when you see these guys now having their own police, that's scary, man. The world
Yeah.
police, come on.
Yeah, and I was reading on their website the other day. I forget which one of those programs it is, but they're going to have, I think, either by 2025 or 2030, whichever. Everything is going to be supposedly cashless and one government for the whole world, and, and
I have that playbook. I have a copy of their playbook. It's 2030. You're
okay,
absolutely right.
Yeah, 2030.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. But if you remember the book 1984, that novel, a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff that's in that book is happening right now. Yeah.
Yeah, Orwell, he man, he was like a Nostradamus, right? He predicted the
Yeah.
future there. And
Yeah.
not a good way.
Exactly. Well, let's look what else we got here. Suspected terrorists are streaming across Biden's broken border. Surprise, surprise, right? Most people entering the United States illegally are likely just looking for a better life for themselves and their families. But dangerous people on the government's terrorist watch list are also taking advantage of President Joe Biden's open border policies. Now, these next two paragraphs what really blew my mind. The result is that 268 non-citizens on the terrorist watch list have been caught by the U.S. Border Patrol since Biden became president nearly 3 years ago. For Donald Trump's four years in office, the total was 14. Now, can you believe that? 268 compared to 14. Now look at this next paragraph. Customs and Border Protection tracks these numbers according to CBP's table. U.S. Border Patrol TSDS encounters between ports of entry of non-U.S. citizens. There were between 2 and 6 encounters each year while Trump was in office, 2017 through 2020, for a total of 14. That changed when Biden entered the Oval Office. There were 16 encounters in fiscal year 2021, 98 in 2022, and 154 so far this year, 2023. That's 14 in Trump's 4 years versus 268 in just 3 years for Biden. Wow. Well, y'all know I ain't a big Trump fan, but I tell you what, as far as the border is concerned, he definitely has a lot better record than Biden, you know? I mean, there's no comparison. It's some pretty scary numbers.
Well, under Trump, we had the safest border we've ever had. It's one of those things. There's a couple things that he's done that it doesn't matter how you feel about the guy. It's the truth, and the border is one of them. If Biden would have just let them finish that wall, we'd have been a lot safer. I mean, there's another story out there, Steve, where there's a 10-year-old girl in Ohio that got raped a few months ago. Come to find out, it was an illegal alien that done it. I mean, it's just, these are not the best people in the world that are coming over here. It would be nice if they were all, humbled and looking for a better life, but that's not who they're sending to us. We're getting a few of those, but the cartel are making money off them and trafficking those people. But we're getting hard-nosed criminals in here, man, and terrorists. And I don't know about you guys, but I fear for our future. I mean, we're out of room. Enough's enough, man.
Yeah.
What else? How many more can we possibly handle? Even New York, who is a sanctuary city, no longer wants to be a sanctuary city because the numbers are too high.
Yeah, the mayor said they're destroying our city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you walk through San Francisco, right? California and there's pardon my language, but you got to watch where you walk because there's poop in the streets. People are just living in the streets, man.
Yeah.
Sad. You ever think you'd hear something like that in the United States of America?
No, but there's a lot of things happening that I never thought would happen in the United States of America,
That's true. Yeah.
Since early 2020, we've been living in the twilight zone.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me 10 years ago that there'd come a day where the government required me to wear a mask or to stay 6 foot away from somebody and refrain from talking to them in like a drugstore, I'd have told you were crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this, Russia? You're nuts.
And I remember one story back in early 2020. When I shut everything down, there were some churches that were having services outside and put up a big movie screen, and you could drive your car into the parking lot and you would watch the church service, okay? So people wouldn't have to congregate. Well, some sheriff, or I think several sheriffs in some counties or some states, actually went out and arrested the pastors of those churches because they were having church illegally, even though people were sitting in their cars. Now that sounded more like communist Russia than anywhere else. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. I remember the guy in Alabama who just then this was like when the pandemic, they called it, was actually lifting and things were getting better. he had church service. He said, we're not shutting it down anymore. He lost so many of his congregation, and they had service. They walked right in and arrested him in front of his wife, children, congregation, and everybody for preaching to the people.
Yeah.
And there's going to come a day. I can, I think Christians, I really believe this. We're going to have to meet in the hills, in hiding, just to have service. I really believe that that's coming. It's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose that's listed in that 2030 plan or whatever they're calling it. You read between the lines, or maybe it's really clear. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the playbook?
Yeah.
2030 or oh man. Yeah, they just your Judeo-Christians, they hate them. They hate us, man.
Yeah.
They really do. They want us to let's put it this way. They're not they want us to worship the other guy.
Yeah.
Not God, not Jesus, but the devil. So it's sad.
By the way,
And they want us to eat bugs, by the way.
yeah.
People think that's all, this crazy conspiracy, but man, just do a little research. It's already happening.
Yeah. Did you by any chance watch any of that interview I sent you the other day I did last Friday?
Yeah. I didn't watch it all. Because, to be honest with you, it was kind of out there a little bit for me.
Yeah. She's way out there.
But now I don't know if you've had a chance to look at any of the interviews I've done on my show, but I've had like mediums and I've done those type of interviews.
I have to. Awesome.
And the only thing you can do is exactly what you did. Just shake your head, make sure you don't agree, but say, yeah, I understand, yeah. That's my favorite word to say on those type of interviews because I'm so afraid I'm going to say, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And then my audience is going to hammer me,
Yeah.
Okay.
She was on the roll until I asked her, she mentioned the Christ consciousness. And I said, wait a minute, you ain't talking about Jesus Christ, the Son of God, are you? Well, I believe he is, but and she went on, come to find out on her website, she makes friends with demons and angels, and they're both at her beck and call. So I kind
That's
of
a little scary.
Yeah, I questioned her on that, and she got real nervous.
That's scary stuff right there.
Yeah. And she teaches people. I call it bait. She says she's a dream interpreter, and she gets people to become her clients so she can interpret their dreams. And she brings all this other stuff in her, and she said, well, there's really no need to fear the demons, and they're not all that bad or something like that. And I said, what planet did she from?
Okay.
So I have a question. What is she charged to be, your
What is she
personal
charged?
dream?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Oh man,
You're not going to sign up on you.
I might,
I'm sure she'd come on your show if you asked her to interview.
I think I'm good with those right now. I think I'm okay. I'm telling you, I've had some dudes. I'm trying to look it up right now. There's one I want you to go listen to that, see if it doesn't remind you of what you just went through and listen to his interpretation. He said he's been to, well, it's not called heaven, but it's a place. Yeah. And by the way, I've been reincarnated. I'm in my 28th time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
congratulations.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, what are you saying? Like, that's what I said to him. I said, are you
so
saying,
have you been were you your dad or were you your brother?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I've heard that.
It's a different, I was in different families. I was a female one time. It's crazy.
Which animal you've been? You've probably been a couple of animals.
An animal. Oh yeah, he did say that he could.
A
He could
lion.
see.
I've had people tell me they was a lion. They were a mermaid. That they came in on the Atlantis. All kind of stuff. I get a lot of that too.
It's season 2, episode 19. Steve, and it's author of New Beginning, My Awakening. His name is Daniel M. Jackson. That's the show. You get a chance to
Samuel
listen to
Jackson.
Daniel M. Jackson.
He's not the actor Samuel Jackson, is he?
No, Daniel.
Oh, Daniel. Daniel.
Yeah. No, he's I think you'll enjoy that. I think you'll enjoy that interview. I really do.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it was actually a year ago, a couple days ago when I done that. September 14th, 2022. Wow.
Yeah, on a podcast I had back in 2021, it was kind of like Friday Night Conversations. It was called Holding On with Holder. I did 100 interviews and I archived it. It's still on my Facebook. On my YouTube channel. Same one this is on. But anyway, yeah, I interviewed all kinds of people, politicians, ministers, porn stars, voodoo priestesses. I mean, you name it. I've done some wild interviews. But you meet interesting people like that.
You do. You really do.
Yeah.
I've had a blast doing it. Don't get me wrong. I'd have him back on the show again. I mean, it was a blast for me. He may not come back on the show, but yeah, you meet people. I actually ended up writing a book because of an author that I interviewed on my show last year.
Yeah.
That's how much he inspired me. So.
Yeah. Well, that's where I met Kim. I interviewed her on that show a couple years back, and Mr. President, that's where I met him. Yeah, we had some interesting interviews.
Yeah, it's good having guests on your show. It gives you a different dimension. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Get you out of the boring if you feel like you're bored and need something new. Use a fresh look at things.
Hey, I do it all the time. It's hard to do a full 40 minutes all by yourself.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think the longest one I did was about 2.5 hours. And that was the voodoo priestess I mentioned.
Yeah.
She got on a roll and she wouldn't stop. I just let her talk. I butted in about once every 15 minutes just to stay awake.
One of the guys that actually I look up to when I first started doing this, Rush Limbaugh, man, he used to go 5 days a week, 5 hours a day by himself. Never had a guest. I just don't,
Wow.
Man, it's amazing. You don't see how he done it.
He was either bored or egomaniac or both.
I don't know. He was very good at what he done. Very good.
Okay. Anything else on that? We kind of got off the subject on that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but we still stayed in the newsroom. So
Had fun anyway, didn't we? Okay, here we go. We've kind of been talking about this guy already. As 2024 nears, Democrats step up attacks on political rights. Democrats' 7-year-long relentless campaign to drive Donald Trump out of politics and bar him from running for president in 2024 is becoming more frantic as the primaries come nearer. President Joseph Biden's Justice Department and Democratic prosecutors in Georgia and New York are pushing criminal cases in 4 venues against Trump as part of this effort. Trials in each of these cases are set to begin before and during the 2024 primaries. Many of these prosecutions involve charges most often used to target and frame of Unionists and opponents of Washington's imperialist wars. RICO laws, conspiracy charges, domestic terrorism laws, and other thought control statutes. Wow, nothing subtle about that, huh? So, just like we've been saying for a while now, all these things keep building up against Trump. And today I saw the news where in New York they put new charges on him. I think they weren't criminal charges, but lawsuits or something.
Fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, he was supposed to be.
They convicted him of fraud.
Yeah, they said he built up his worth. So do you think maybe he's not really a billionaire at all? Maybe, I don't know. Kind of
Well, I
reminds
mean,
me of
he's probably loving. He's probably loving every charge they bring against him. Every time they bring something against this guy, his numbers go up. So,
I know.
I mean,
I think he just thrives on the attention. I think he just has to be the center of attention.
well,
And
it's
it
really
don't
like
matter how
he's kind of untouchable, Steve. To be honest with you, because
yeah.
what they've done is they've rushed this stuff so bad, and they fumbled it up. If there were some actual charges there, they messed it up. Just like the raid that they did at Mar-a-Lago, they screwed it up. And the reason why is because they're incompetent, man. This DOJ is incompetent.
It's unreal, that's for sure. It reminds me of watching a soap opera sometimes, that nothing is logical. You see a bunch of rich folks doing all these crazy things and nothing bad ever happens to them. They just move on to the next show and it's all said and done. And it's crazy.
It is. And it's just not getting any better. It's getting worse.
So what do you think about it, Angela?
I don't know. I just think that they just keep messing with that man. Like they just won't give Trump a break.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm glad of it.
I mean, I know some of the stuff he may be guilty of, but some of this stuff they just piling it on. They just piling it on. But it's all gonna come out. It's all gonna have to come out. Like a lot of stuff is just gonna have to come out. But
I think the Democrats and the Republicans kind of look at it kind of like when two people are haggling over a price. The seller asks a lot more than he really wants because he knows the other guy's going to try to chew him down a little bit. And the buyer always bids, I'll give you $5 when you really willing to go 100. He just don't want to, right off the bat say that. So they just kind of see where they can end up. I think they kind of like that in politics. Okay, anybody else on that one?
Well, can you explain what you just said there a little bit? I kind of like that scenario. I just trying to figure out what.
Well, and somebody's trying to sell something. He puts the price up there a whole lot higher than what he really wants out of it, just to let the other guy haggle him down a little bit and think he's getting a good deal. Like, I start off saying, well, I want $500 for this. I know as soon as I say that, you're gonna offer me 200, so I say, well, I owe 500, and I'll get you up to 300, I'm really better off than what I asked for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
Okay,
you're saying that they're doing that with Trump, or
I think so. I think so. I think both sides do that in all kinds of things. You know,
gotcha.
it gives them bargaining room on the Senate floor or House floor or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That makes sense. It's I don't know. I think that the young lady's right that just spoke though. It's got to come out. All of it's got to come out. Whether he's on the right side or the wrong side, it's all got to come out.
Yeah.
Whether you like Trump or you don't like him, it's got to come out. Here's the one thing that I tell everybody, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people think that I'm a huge Donald Trump supporter. I'm not. I'm not. I didn't like him at all when he first ran. Now I respect him because of what he did when he was in office. And I tell everybody this: just imagine, and you have to admit, whether you like him or not, he done a lot for this country when he was president before the pandemic hit. He done a whole lot, a lot of trades, stuff that we don't even know about, that the average person doesn't know about, that they'll find out down the road, and brought jobs to this place and everything. Imagine what he could have done if he didn't have to fight every day with Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and everyone else. You know, this man went to court 20 times when he was president over the wall and different issues he wanted to pass to help the American people, to actually help us. Imagine what he could have done if they would have just left him alone and let him do his job like they have every other president. So, you know, that's my feelings on him. No, I wasn't going to vote for him, but I did because definitely wasn't voting for Hillary. And I just, I thought of it that day as, well, he's the less of the two evils, right? And that's why I voted for him.
And that's the way
what's
I felt on the presidential election. It's the best of two evils, and then I chose Biden. When you
you
were
was wrong. You was wrong.
oh well.
But no, I'm just messing with you. But yeah, so but he held to everything that he said. What president does that? Like, he actually fulfilled his promises. Who does that? So that's why I have respect for him. I know he has a past. I know he's done shady things that nobody should ever do. But guess what? I've got a past too. You've got a past also. If we don't show a little mercy, if God didn't show us mercy, where would we be? So
But as somebody said a while back, the lesser of two evils is still evil. When we're forced to do that, we have to choose evil. That's what I hate.
true.
Now, here's a story that is very, very interesting. Alex Murdoch's lawyer says jurors heard weeks of unrelated evidence. So this guy's going to be getting a new trial, apparently. A high-profile defense attorney for disgraced South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdoch believes jurors were deaf to very, very strong evidence in favor of his innocence after sitting through weeks of damning testimony on unrelated fraud, theft, and grift. That jury had heard almost 3 weeks of evidence not related to the murder, to the financial crimes, which he always admitted to. Attorney Dick Tarpoulian told Fox News Digital at CrimeCon 2023 in Orlando that we believe it so prejudiced them that when we had to put the forensic evidence in, which is very, very strong, for his innocent acquittal, they didn't hear it. Murdoch, 55, was convicted in March of the shooting deaths of his wife Maggie, 52, and their youngest son, Paul, 22. So now they're saying that the jury just heard a lot of evidence about financial crimes that he admitted to. So then they, in their minds, they automatically assumed he was pleading guilty or he was guilty of the murders. So now they're saying that gives them basis for another trial. So what do you think about that? Do you think this guy deserves another trial, and do you think he's innocent?
I don't really have a whole lot to say
No,
about
I
this
don't think
one.
he need another
But
trial. He did what he did, and he don't need another trial because he did it, and all the evidence pointed to him. He did what he did, and he don't need another trial. He need to no, he don't need another trial. He's never gonna see the outside of a jail again. He need to just enjoy it. He got time to be on there on his fan only pages and showing his body off and doing all that. Let him keep on doing it from the privacy of his cell. He don't need to be on the outside no more. You killed your wife and your son.
I didn't know he did all
No.
that on the Only fan page. That's the first I've heard about that.
Yeah, he has a only a fan only page. He been on there with his shirt off, posing and all kind of stuff. Yeah. Somebody took and tagged me on that.
Well,
Yeah. He been doing a whole lot down there in SCDC.
yeah. And
He sure has.
his whole
On his
history,
tablet. He been on his tablet and then on his tablet. He been doing all that on his tablet. He been all on all the pages. Trying
wow,
to they talk about he trying to get paid for his sexiness. I say, oh my God, if they don't go somewhere with that.
yeah,
But yeah, no, he don't need no another trial. He
yeah.
don't need nothing. He need to enjoy where he at and
He's
think
working.
about that he did because
Yeah,
he did a whole lot and a whole lot of people was affected behind what he did.
yeah.
So no, he don't need another trial.
And he had a reputation in his state for being a real jerk anyway for many, many years. He was kind of a big bully, I think. So what you think, Kentucky guy?
yeah, I have to agree with her. He's guilty of sin, man, and you know, it's funny. Um, Evidently, this guy's got $1 or two, right? I have to be honest with you, Steve. If it was me or you in his same position, I don't think nobody would ever heard of our case. We'd been prosecuted and hung out to dry. We'd never get a second chance.
Yeah,
Why does this guy deserve
exactly.
one?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there is. I don't know if you followed that case or not, or read the case files, but there's nobody else that could have committed those murders, man. I mean, he's guilty,
Yeah,
and I think they got it right, and they should just leave it alone.
yeah. Didn't they give him a couple of life sentences or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky he didn't get the death penalty.
Yeah. You know, I
But
look at that.
maybe he'll repent in that life sentence.
Yeah, I look at that differently. When people get a life sentence or the death penalty, I think they're getting the worst end of the deal myself. If it was me, I'd rather just say, kill me, and I don't want to be in prison for the next 50 years or whatever. You know,
You rather die?
I'd rather just go ahead and say, let me go.
You rather die, like get
I would.
electrocuted?
I
Oh.
would. Of course, I think when I die, I'm going straight to heaven. So, you know, heaven versus prison, I'll take heaven anytime, brother.
Yeah, but now wait a minute now. If you were in prison, you'd be a different guy than you are right now. So I don't know.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, that definitely changes people.
Well, what I'm saying is you'd have to be not a good guy like you are now to commit a crime to go into jail for that
Yeah.
long. See what I mean?
I got you. But I I used to take a Bible study in the prison. I've done that for about a year or so. That was interesting.
My brother, he's a minister, and before COVID, he was doing it a lot. He would go into the prisons and preach, and they'd have a gathering for him. And some of them guys are starving for, and then some of them guys just use it for an excuse to get out of, wherever they
Yeah.
were.
But the ones that I met, they were just regular human beings that got caught. They weren't
made a
any
mistake.
worse than anybody else. Now,
They
most
made a
of,
mistake.
yeah. I mean, there's a few of them that are hardcore and evil to the core. That's where they need to be. But most of them, they just regular human people that got caught, made some bad decisions. A lot of it was because of the drunk or high and they done something stupid.
I think that if we look back to our younger, like in our past, I would say, I know I have, so I'm going to say like 90% of us, 85, 90%, we've all got away with something where we could almost end up there ourselves.
Yeah, I could have.
I know I could have. I was young and stupid, used to
Yeah.
drink and all that stupid stuff,
I remember when I was about 20 years old, I don't tell this too often, but it's nothing really that can get me in trouble now. But I was being interrogated in a police station by a bunch of our room full of cops and detectives. And the detective looked at me and said, "Boy, you're facing 20 years in prison." And, I look back at that now and I think, well, he was serious. That was his plan. But God had something else in mind. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At them days, I was really heavy into drinking and drugging and doing all kinds of crazy crap.
Sometimes I wonder how I'm still alive
I
because of
do
what I
too.
did when I was younger.
I do too.
Yeah.
Hey, we got somebody in the chat that asked a question.
Uh-oh.
Larry says, how will MAGA fight the woke military without tanks, attack helicopters, or missile systems?
You have to read that one more time, if you don't mind.
Let me just put it on the screen there so you can see it.
Okay.
How will MAGA fight the woke military without tanks, attack helicopters, or missile systems?
Well, do you mind if I take this one?
Go ahead.
So you're right. We have a lot of people in our military, our current military, that are woke. I mean, that's obvious. However, our military, what you don't know, what you don't hear, is really split. And remember one thing, when you go into the military, you're not there to protect the president. You're not there to even protect American citizens. You are to what? You are to guard the Constitution. You are to protect the Constitution of the United States. That's the first thing they teach you. So there are generals above generals. They're called commanders. Your commanders are not woke. Your commanders are the guys that Biden can't stand, that have the football that he's supposed to have because he's dangerous. Who's going to give him nuclear codes? So those guys there, when they say jump, I don't care how woke the military is, some of the people in there, they're going to say how high. So when it all comes down to it, if it comes to that, and I know exactly what this gentleman's talking about, but I hope it doesn't come to this. But if it was to come to that, I wouldn't have any worries at all, because the commanders still see Trump as their leader.
Like Millie, he says.
Yeah, Millie. Yeah, he's a. I don't know if here's the thing about Millie. I don't know if he's playing a part or what. He comes off like this big woke guy, but at one time he was right there behind Trump. he's very confusing. But yeah, he's right now in front of. I mean, he shows that he's woke on a lot of stuff, but he's not a commander. No, I'm not talking about him.
He's
He's a general.
what is it, 4-star, 5-star? I don't remember.
He's been around. Yeah, I mean, he's he's been around, but these guys are the guys I'm talking about. You don't see them on CNN or you're not going to see them standing behind the president during a speech. You know, these guys are a lot of them are retired and came out of retirement. You know, so
Well, they should be non-political, you know.
it's all about the Constitution, man. And they still see Trump as their commander in chief.
I'm sure a lot of them do. I'm sure a lot of them do.
Yeah.
If you look in the chat, Larry, you had got a lot to say about that. Sounded like the military wanted Trump gone. Name a conservative city with the port of trade. Can you name one a city like that? I can't.
What now?
Name a conservative city with a port of trade, he says.
With a port of trade?
Yeah.
I mean, you have Florida's a pretty conservative state now. They have ports. I don't really understand the question.
And he says, how can you fight a war without ports of trade? I'm not sure I understand that one either, Larry.
The war we're in right now is an information war. You don't need it's something like we've never faced in our life. You don't need guns, tanks, or ships. It's all about information, propaganda, and so forth. And that really, I mean, we've been in that war for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, when it first started, you had a lot of these guys out here that they have always been true conspiracy theorists, and they just, boy, they went wild, spreading false, you know, Trump's going to be back in there within a month and this and that, and just a bunch of, and you know, there's nowhere in the Constitution, there's no way for him to get back in there before being voted back in. Trust me, I would have loved it if he never left, especially what everybody's been going through, you know. But you had guys on there like what is his name, Juan O'Savin or something like that. The guy makes I'm sure he's a nice guy, and he talks a good game about Christianity and that. But man, some of the stuff he threw out there, like John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be Trump's vice president. The guy's been dead since 2019. I mean, what are you doing? So, anyways, they had a field day. Those type of guys did, and they unfortunately a lot of people fell for it, and people are still doing it. They're still holding on to that. That's how come I tell everybody, do your own research.
But propaganda has always been a major tool for military officials and politicians, you know. It's always been a major part of it.
Yeah. And psych, that's a huge operation, you know, in the military.
And Larry says it's dueling media narratives. You got that right.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, Larry.
Yeah. Yep. You're spot on. You got the mainstream media that will tell you that the sky is purple when you can look up and see it's blue. Right. I think you're on mute.
Would it be interested to have split screens, have MSNBC on the left side of the screen and Fox News on the right side of the screen? Let them have a debate.
And the truth be told, they're both the same.
I don't believe it.
They're both. I don't even watch them, man.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, the only time is if we're doing some research for, you know, a show, and I'll watch CNN and I'll tell exactly opposite of what they said. because I know that'll be true. So
Yeah. The other day, Mitch McConnell said something I agreed with. I thought, oh no, I must be wrong.
he's out of my state. He's got to go.
Why do y'all keep electing him, man?
Nobody decent runs against him. The last time he was elected in, we had that woman, and she was so crazy. She was so far left that Kentucky is a Republican state, so therefore you have to have somebody with decent qualities to beat him. And he is. We need term limits. Should have been rid of this guy a long time ago. Yeah, he's his wife's part of the Chinese party. I don't know if you know that. Oh yeah, yeah. He's got a mail order bride. Yeah, oh yeah. She's right there. Her dad owns so many fishing like major ships over in China. Yeah, they got their hands in everything, man.
Yeah.
They really do. That's why they don't want to stop that money going to Ukraine.
Hey, I wish we could stop all that money going to Ukraine. That's ridiculous.
I wish they put a trace on it. They'd be surprised how much coming right back here in the bank accounts.
I've done a lot of reading about Zelensky, and I knew he used to be a comedian, but he apparently was an actor also. He acts now. Get this: before he became president of Ukraine, before the war started, he played the president of Ukraine on a sitcom that was very, very popular. Did you know that?
I did. He was. He was. Did you read how he got his presidency?
I don't think I did.
You get a chance, look it up. He was put in there by Obama and a few of them.
But they say this war really started back in 2014, is what a lot of people are saying over there. I don't know how they, I'm not sure about how they look at it like that, but.
Yeah, that's when he was set in, right? And they overthrew with a coup. They overthrew Ukraine's current president at that time, and they took the land from Russia. So yeah, and I'm not talking about all of Ukraine, but just parts of it.
Yeah.
And this Russia thing, it's I can't wait until everything that's really going on in Ukraine comes to light. I guess that's the best way to put it. Be a lot of shocked people.
All right. Angela, or Kentucky guy, tell me what Larry Means here says. You should name your show 3 Cambridge Analytica victims. I'm not sure. 3 Cambridge Analytica victims. I have no idea what you mean on that one, Larry.
That doesn't sound very, very positive, does it?
I don't think it's a compliment.
I don't know what he's talking about. He got some issues. I'm just reading. I'm just following his thread. He got some issues over there.
Okay.
He got some issues. He just needs some loving. That's all.
Well, one thing you'll find
out
is... Of
course, I have no idea. Sorry, Mr. Larry.
Yeah, one thing you'll find out about me, Bud, is I don't say anything to tickle anybody's ears.
So smart. Why are you
just say the truth.
Yeah, he got some issues. Which of the poor states do you all hail from? Which state are different states? So which state are you from?
I think we unpissed Larry off.
Probably Alabama, huh?
Oh, well.
Yeah, Larry's not happy. Larry apparently don't like people that think for themselves and not just go along with the crowd. Apparently, oh yeah, he's from one of those states. Okay. He from the mountains. He from all the way up in the mountains. Montana.
Wait a minute now. Oh.
Where you from, Montana too?
No, I'm from Kentucky, but we got mountains.
Yeah. We got mountains in South Carolina. Matter of fact, where I'm
There you-
from is up in the mountains. I just happen to
Hey,
live in Myrtle Beach.
Hey, you're the one that was putting down mountains. I mean,
Yeah.
We definitely got mountains in Tennessee, no doubt about that.
yeah.
He said you don't think for yourself.
Well,
Yeah,
Ours
I
says
think
we
for
don't think
myself,
for
sweetheart.
ourselves.
Yeah, I
Ours
think
says
for
we don't
myself.
think for ourselves.
Yeah. Apparently he don't
yeah.
think for himself.
The worst thing we can do is actually respond to this guy. You know, so,
I'm having
I
fun listening to him and Angela have a debate.
yeah, I think it's fun as well. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I've got to drop here. It's 15 after 10 now. So, but I appreciate you having me on, Steve. I really do.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, and you have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll see you Thursday.
And South Carolina,
He
don't go
said
too
he
hard on my
already
boy Larry.
trolled us. That's all he wanted to do was be a troll.
Don't go too hard on Larry. Ask him where
You wanna
Curly and
get your-
Bo is.
Yeah,
You wanna
that's
put
what
your plug
that's
in
what they
before
do.
you go, Kentucky guy?
What's that?
You want to put your plug in before you go?
Yeah, the Red Pill Current News Podcast. You get a chance, check us out. We drop a couple episodes every week. We talk about political, current events, things of that nature. We're on 73 different audio platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, Apple iTunes, Pandora, and the list goes on.
You ain't gonna name
Once
the whole
again.
list?
No.
Oh, well, good deal, good deal. You got a lot going on, brother.
Yep. And once again,
Yeah,
I do
he
got to
do.
jump. But thank you guys so much for having me on. We'll see you soon.
All
All right.
Thank you.
See you
All right,
later.
have a good night.
All right. All
You
right.
know, they all ran off and left us.
Yeah, they all done left us tonight.
Oh, well.
Well,
Okay,
we'll be back at it again on Thursday. So that
we will.
definitely hopefully they'll be back. I have enjoyed it once again. I have enjoyed it. Always like an
I mean-
opportunity to be able to share my voice. It is my voice, my opinion, my thoughts, my perspective, as though they are. I may not agree with everything that is said, and everybody may not agree with me, but I don't proclaim to be everybody's cup of tea. But you know what? I'm enjoying my champagne over here, enjoying life. Just doing what I can do to be that change that I desire to see in this world. That's my motto, and that's what I stand on.
Yeah.
Of course, anybody that want to support me, follow me, check out any of my podcasts, any of the things I do, check out any of the 60 books that I have. Yes, that is my prayer book. Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, that is my prayer book, 121 Days of Prayer. That is based on the L3 movement, learn, love, lead. I tell you, that is one of my babies there. Thank you so much for purchasing that, and thank you so much for sharing that right here. That truly touched my heart on tonight. So thank you for that. Of course, I am on Linktree, Queen of Collaboration across all platforms. Again, I thank you for allowing me to be here.
Well, you're welcome. Glad you're here. Well, let's just say good night for tonight, and glad everybody tuned in. Come back again next time, and we'll have some more exciting news and comments for you. And so, good night, Angela. Good night, everybody watching, and have a great rest of the evening and a great tomorrow. Good night.